comes to the North Country, blocking highways, stopping trains, paralyzing all transportation. Yesterday, only the dog team could conquer its blinding snow and bitter cold. Today, Caterpillar tractors pick up far greater loads and carry them surely and safely to their destination. Sometimes the goal is a remote mining camp where a tractor train is the only link with the outside world. Again, it is a construction project. Where a dam must be completed before the spring floods. The blast has hardly died away before a tractor and winch start cleaning up the debris. A crude windbreak is built to protect the operator from cold that stabs like a knife. But the tractor gives no quarter and asks none, as it reaches into the pit and drags large boulders from the frozen earth. The rocks are delivered downstream, but old pilings are lifted to the top of the dam, where another tractor quickly gets them out of the way. A third tractor hauls machinery to the powerhouse, lending a hand wherever power is needed to complete a difficult project on time for a northern paper mill. Still farther north, in the province of Quebec, we find Mannix and Kramer's diesel fleet leaving the railroad with a heavy cargo of bridge timbers. There are no roads, no towns, no telegraph where this diesel train runs, so a D8 and angle dozer lead the way, pushing through the drifts, conquering barren wastes, carrying cargo and crew across a snowbound land. As the last railroad spur is left behind, as roads become trails and trails are lost in the snow, we realize that men depend on these machines not only for their livelihood, but for their lives. These tractors cannot fail. They must complete the trip and bring their precious cargo safely to the end of the trail. All over the Northland, the story is the same. An isolated logging camp works through the winter, secure in the knowledge that its diesel fleet will deliver food and supplies on time. The train leaves town with a 12-ton load to make a non-stop trip of 100 miles, first across snow-covered roads, but later through an Arctic wilderness. Civilization is soon left far behind, and there is nothing but the exhaust of the tractor to break the winter silence. Another diesel train carries its own snowplow to buck drifts along the Arctic Circle. It operates on a regular schedule between Fairbanks, Alaska, and the Good Pasture gold mines, where winter holds the trail in its icy grip for 9 long months. You can almost feel the biting cold as Hennessy and Hennessy make up their tractor train at Rollo Siding, Quebec, for a 100-mile journey to a construction job. One heated caboose is provided for the crew, another for perishable freight, as the Diesel Express leaves town on schedule and heads northward into the bush. Again, tractors carry on where the railroads leave off, pulling more than 25 tons of payload every trip. The temperature is 40 below. Steep grades lie ahead, but the tractor accepts the challenge fearlessly and goes on to win another great victory along the trails of the North Country. West of Hudson Bay, the Patricia Transportation Company has an even longer haul, 145 miles from the railroad to a mine at Red Lake. The first D6 went through with a 40-ton load, so a second machine was ordered by radio to work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, on one of the longest hauls in Canada. These records are being written in northern logging camps as well as along Arctic freighting trails. They extend from Alaska to Labrador and from the Great Lakes to the Arctic Circle. They are more than a tribute to sure starting, unfailing power, and matchless reliability. They are the crowning proof that Caterpillar diesel tractors can conquer the most severe operating conditions in the world. Now for a jump from 40 below zero to 120 in the shade to see what these same machines are doing along the equator. There we find a similar story. Caterpillar diesels are taking over the work of the faithful ox just as they are supplanting the dog teams of the north, because they conquer tropic heat as surely as Arctic cold. "20 yoke of oxen plodding along this South African road are no match for the D4 because it hauls larger loads at twice the speed and half the cost of ox teams. Bridges are unknown in many of the remote sections of Africa, so a D7 wades across a swollen stream, carrying an automobile and other valuable freight with it. Along the River Nile, annual floods cover the fields with a deep layer of silt. Leveling and cultivating these fields has been a problem since the days of the pharaohs. First, slaves were used. Then came the ox and the water buffalo. Now, diesel tractors do the work at the lowest cost in history. Africa's new paved highways also look to diesel power for crushed rock to build a roadbed. 9 of these portable crushers are at work on one stretch of national highway near Cape Town, South Africa. Tractors, auto patrols, compressors, and shovels are also driven by Caterpillar diesel power. The Robinson mine at Johannesburg, South Africa, is the deepest gold mine in the world, over 1.5 miles straight down in the ground. Here, a Caterpillar diesel engine ran more than 7,000 hours without a single stop for repairs on the deepest drilling job in Africa. Erosion also takes its toll in South African fields, but fleets of diesel tractors are hard at work controlling it. Dams are built across the deep gullies, while shallow ditches are filled with earth. Native drivers handled the tractors and scrapers to heal the scars left by tropical rains. After the gullies are filled, terraces are built to stop soil washing and save moisture. So the same methods of erosion control are used in Africa and America, and the same equipment has proved best for doing both jobs. On a great irrigation project in Transvaal, 2 D4 tractors pull a special implement that is cutting 600 miles of distributing ditches from the main canal. Thus, another back-breaking job is done quickly and economically with diesel power, and the quality of the work speaks for itself. Old sisal bowls must be uprooted on an African plantation to make way for the new crop, so a diesel tractor and bulldozer do the job. When the land is cleared, the same tractor pulls a plowing disc to prepare the new seed bed. This little donkey went to market, and I'll bet he'd rather stay home. But farm crops must get to the railroad, even in the most distant lands. And crops do get to the railroad when a diesel tractor is supplying the power. The same machine that raised this sugar cane hauls it to market, earning an extra dividend for the owner. Plowing can be done to any desired depth with the type of implement you prefer. Stubborn soil yields to diesel power in the tropic heat. Seed beds are finished on time as the owner marvels at the speed and economy with which the work is done. New highways flow from the belt of a machine called an elevating grader at the rate of 5,000 cubic yards in a single day, linking continent with continent and opening another desert frontier. Auto patrols work beneath the broiling sun, spreading rock and finishing the surface of a road that will finally stretch from Alaska down the Pacific coast into South America. So Caterpillar diesel performance, like the Pan American Highway, stretches from the equator to the Arctic Ocean, mastering the world's most difficult power problems, working in the greatest extremes of temperature, and in so doing, giving you assurance of faithful, economical service, winter and summer, year after year.